Hey everyone, HeeVee here. Cryptocurrencies rallied to a $1.1 trillion market cap led by Ethereum, and the meme stocks continue to tumble. Today I will be going over the recent rally in the cryptocurrencies and what might be behind that, as well as continuing coverage of the meme stock mania of 2021. But first, we must do our cold plunge. The current temperature is coming in at 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and Bitcoin Bob tells us the pool is now 49 degrees. Crypto cold plunge. Once again, the pool temperature is about 20 degrees warmer than the outside air temperature, so I actually don't feel quite as cold being in the pool for the first like 5 seconds. Sometimes it can be difficult to jump into the pool if the air temperature is warmer than the water, because then there's much more of a cold shock. But it's 27 degrees air temperature this morning, 49 degree water temperature, so the transition's really not that bad. Let's talk a little bit about the meme stocks. Dave Portnoy, somebody that I wanted to cover real quick. Dave Portnoy last week, when Robinhood shut down trading, mentioned that he had about $2 million tied up in the meme stocks at that time. And importantly, he said he had no problem losing that $2 million. It was nothing to him. He said he'll eat it like it's cake. And I think he kind of became a bit of a hero to everybody, because it's like, oh, this guy feels so strongly about this subject that he's willing to effectively spend $2 million of his own cash to stand up for it. Stand up for the little guy. And it really resonated with me. I thought it was cool. He got a lot of press about it. He got to go on a lot of shows on cable TV. And then yesterday he comes out and tweets that he sold all of his meme stock for a $700,000 loss, which was much to the dismay of many of us that had looked so fondly upon him. Portnoy said the reason he did it was because he was, quote, taking a D to the face, and that he didn't just want to sit there and get effed, if you will. However, that kind of makes you wonder, under what circumstances was he referring to when he said he was okay with losing the $2 million? Like, if GameStop would have just gone to zero in a matter of minutes, would he have been okay with losing the $2 million? Was he ever okay with losing the $2 million? I think this is an important question to ask, because it kind of shows like how genuine he was being when he actually made that statement. You know, was he just making the statement to get a reaction, you know, to kind of show how he felt about the situation, but he didn't actually mean it? I mean, I think this is a very interesting thing to look at, and I think there are other people that were very vocal about this last week that ended up in Portnoy's situation, where they didn't actually mean what they were talking about, and they just kind of wanted to ride the wave, and emotions were running high, so they might have made some statements that they didn't actually mean. Or maybe I'm just getting a lesson in how people like really are, and most people don't actually say what they mean. Whatever, don't know the answer right now, but it'll be interesting to find out and hear Portnoy continue to talk about this in the future. But I think when a very high-profile person like that was extremely vocal in his support of the meme stock craziness and the rise, when he gets out and basically kind of abandons it. I mean, that's effectively what he did by selling everything, is he abandoned the movement. It's hard to blame the dude for selling when he had $2 million on the line and was down, you know, 700K. That's a big loss to anybody, really. Well, maybe not Jeff Bezos, but you know, to a guy like Portnoy, that's a fairly big loss. So I'm not totally blaming him. I'm just saying that he made a lot of big statements last week, and his actions didn't really support those statements. So we've now been in the water for about 5 minutes, and I think it's time for our daily underwater meditation. We'll be spending about 30 to 45 seconds underwater, sitting on the bottom of the pool. We're gonna purge our lungs of air and sit on the bottom, nice and relaxed, let everything go, clear the head, get in touch with the body, get in touch with the circulation, and make sure that we get the most out of today's cold plunge. So without further ado, let's get to plunging. One of my favorite parts of the day. One of the best 30-second periods of the entire day, sitting on the bottom of that pool. So sitting at about 6 minutes on the clip. I think it's time to go check out the news and some charts. Getting into the news today, let's first talk about Ethereum and the amazing breakout that we saw last night. If you've been watching the show for a while, you'll see that I have been talking about this triangle pattern for at least a week now and how it's been setting up. We kept seeing rejections off the 1450 level. It looked like pressure was building for it to push through. Kept seeing higher lows. It was a pretty bullish pattern that we were following. Well, last night we broke that pattern and we broke it big. Yesterday morning when we were looking at this, we had just poked through it. We had seen these two candles had gotten up through the top line, and then that third candle was just huge. I mean, we smashed it. It was awesome. Came up to about the 1515 level, moved a little bit sideways, and we've just been working it ever since then. Currently sitting at about $1,550 per coin. Overnight, we reached a high of $1,570. Very exciting stuff, very exciting. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see how just textbook this technical breakout was. And the great news is that it's forming a little bit of consolidation up here at the top. So this is what we call a bull flag. You know, we moved up, here's the flagpole, and now it's forming the pennant. Who knows, we might be seeing new highs again in the coming days here. Could be seeing 2,000 within a few days, who knows. So as I mentioned, the cryptocurrency market as a whole has been seeing a rally over the last 24 hours. If we move over to Bitcoin, we can see Bitcoin's also got a nice little breakout and it's moving up towards its key resistance level around the 38,000 level. Right now, Bitcoin is sitting at about 36,650. So we're about 5% below our key resistance of about 38 to 38.5. That will be cool to see in the coming days. Right now, there's not much of a chart pattern set up. We know that we're kind of trading within, you know, this range of about 29,000 to 42,000. Obviously, that's a very wide range. We can see that there's local resistance pretty significantly around the 37.5 level. So that's about $900 from here. If we continue to rally throughout the day, then we might be able to see it test those levels maybe later today or tonight, possibly tomorrow. But let's talk a little bit about what might be fueling this rally, especially in Bitcoin. So according to CoinDesk, Bitcoin holders have now stashed away 15% of circulating supply. What does this mean? Basically, they looked at wallets that only have inflows, wallets that have never spent any coin and that have had activity within the last 7 years. So continued accumulation of Bitcoin by investors is causing market liquidity to drop and helping drive prices higher. Effectively, this means that demand is outstripping supply, so the price is going up. We see data by Glassnode shows the total balance of Bitcoin held in accumulation addresses. This is what I was talking about with addresses where they have at least 2 incoming non-dust transfers and have never spent any funds. Effectively, these are addresses where they only ever take in Bitcoin. It's not a buy and sell. We see it rose to 3.5-year high. So this is pretty key here. Bitcoin held in accumulation addresses rose to a 3.5-year high of 2.85 million Bitcoin on Tuesday, roughly 15% of the total circulating supply. If we look at this graph, we can see that it's just been steadily increasing over the last year effectively. And if you look at the price of Bitcoin, it's also been steadily increasing over the last year. Much of this is driven by institutional buyers. Another important point, the Bitcoin locked in accumulation addresses is up 22% year on year and has increased by 80,000 Bitcoin in the last week alone. Finally, for this article, we can see that they state that the balance of Bitcoin held on exchanges is also at a 2.5-year low of 2.349 million Bitcoin. Supply is very low and demand is kicking up. If in the coming days, Elon Musk and Tesla begin to take in Bitcoin, then the combination of this low supply along with a huge increase in demand could send this thing skyward. A quick little snapshot of what the cryptocurrency market looked like yesterday shows us just how much green there was. We can see 10% on Bitcoin, 12% on Ethereum. Litecoin, 13.6%. Dogecoin was up. If we come down here and we look at the baratexpress.com, we can see that the overall cryptocurrency market cap currently sits at $1.09 trillion. I mean, this is huge. We're talking trillion with a T. And we see further mainstream acceptance of Bitcoin here. Just in the last day, Miami mayor says city employees should be able to take their salaries in Bitcoin. The trend of people getting paid in Bitcoin has been steadily increasing. We saw the NFL player that got paid in Bitcoin. Now, Miami, which has 450,000 city employees, could possibly start paying their people in Bitcoin. They want to increase and promote the number of transactions in Bitcoin in the city. As you saw on that subline, Miami wants to be the most Bitcoin-friendly city in the US. The city of Miami believes in Bitcoin, and I'm working day and night to turn Miami into a hub for crypto innovation. This is all great news for the growing acceptance and adoption of Bitcoin among large institutions and mainstream adoption of it. Bitcoin is limited in the number that can be in supply. 21 million Bitcoin is all that can ever exist. As demand for Bitcoin increases, whether that be for transactions or for just holding as a store of value, the price can only go up. These are big time bullish cases for Bitcoin. Lastly, we will continue our coverage of the meme stock mania of 2021. GameStop had a huge drop yesterday. It's currently sitting around $101 at market open. The market just opened. This is Wednesday morning. Oop, there goes $99. So it's up roughly 10% on the day. One interesting thing to note, though, is how low the volume has been. If we look down on the chart, we can see volume has been quite low over the past few days. If we zoom out, you can see just how significant the volume was last week. S3 Partners came out and released new information yesterday about the percentage of float that was short, and it showed it being around 53%. I mentioned that yesterday, and there's a lot of people disputing that number. Although, as my brother pointed out, when you have skin in the game, it's almost impossible not to have a biased opinion. And so many of the people disputing it are likely have skin in the game. And as Meet Kevin pointed out yesterday, people were calling this an attack. They keep referring to it as like a short ladder attack. We're getting attacked. But if this was just in another ticker and it was going down, then these kinds of words wouldn't be thrown around. There's a lot of irrational exuberance going on. A lot of people are down big. They don't want to believe that those losses will be sustained. And so they come up with any reason why there's a bull case for GameStop to come back up. So in summary, great news on the cryptocurrency markets. Not as good of news in the meme stock market, but capital rotation and markets, I mean, buying and selling, this is just kind of how things go. Things go up, things go down, things go sideways. You never know. So that does it for today's Cold Plunge every day until Bitcoin 50K. Very exciting things going on in the cryptocurrency markets. Unfortunately, the meme stock mania has cooled off a little bit, but that will be an ongoing story as the Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev will sit in front of Congress on February 18th. As always, if there's anything that you think I missed or that you think I should cover tomorrow, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to start a conversation with you all and have a little more back and forth between you and the viewers. I haven't seen any comments on like the last few videos. So if you could get the chatter going down there, I'd love to join you guys. And I hope you all have a great day. Get to cold plunging out there, and I'll see you tomorrow.